taking off fast lane, no coasting, and everything is going to be all right. We talk about calling out of your job tonight. What up, y'all? Hump Day Wednesday, all up in your area. This is the Daily Go Getimism Show. I'm your host, Son 752, aka Omar, with the feeling like a real man should. And I hope y'all feeling like real men and women should as well. So, Hump Day Wednesday, the 28th. I know we already have crossed over into the 29th, but this show is for Wednesday, and we're representing the 28th, January 28th. So tonight we're talking about calling out from work. Calling out from work. Anybody who has a job knows about calling out from work. Some people do it a lot. Some people do it a little. And we're going to talk about our behavior when it comes to the attendance policy at the jobs that we have. I mean, let's talk about it. It's one of those things that, you know, it may be personal to some. It may not be a big deal to others, but we're gonna get it popping. We're gonna talk about it tonight. So, yes, calling out from work. Now, what does it mean to you? What does it mean? Hold on, let me make sure I make myself troll proof in the beginning. I won't be troll proof for the whole night, but for the time being, I want to make myself troll proof. Troll proof, baby. So, yeah. What does calling out from work mean to you? Like, are you the type of person where, like, you could probably count on your hands, on one hand, how many times you've called out? Now, I'm not talking about your vacation time. I'm not talking about your PTO. I'm talking about, like, those days when you got up, saw snow coming down or rain, or you woke up late and you just said, man, they ain't gonna see me today. They ain't gonna see me today. They ain't gonna see me today. No way. They ain't gonna see me today. I went yesterday, but they ain't gonna see me today. What can I say? They ain't gonna see me today. I work where I stay. They ain't gonna see me today. They better have my pay. But they ain't gonna see me today. When I don't feel like going today. They ain't gonna see me today. No how, no mother effing way. They ain't gonna see me today. Hey, you know how I go. Hey, they ain't gonna see me today. My man JJ. They ain't gonna see me today. Crash money in the house. Yeah. They ain't gonna see me today. TK right, yo. What's the way? They ain't gonna see me today. So what's it going to be? Let's get into it. I mean, I figure we all work for somebody. Even if you work for yourself, even if you are in business for yourself or you own your own business, you still work for somebody because you have clients, you have customers, you have people that rely on you for goods and services, and they pay you and you get paid. So you don't necessarily have to punch a clock. Now, I'll say this. If you have a laissez-faire attitude towards going to go get your money as a business person, you shouldn't be in business. And trust and believe, many have found out that they weren't the chosen one for business. Not everybody is able to do it. But for the ones that are able to do it, they normally display a certain level of discipline, and that's how they're able to stay in business for any length of time. So we're going to get into it and get involved. These puzzle pieces right now, we going to solve y'all. Puzzle pieces we going to solve y'all. Yo, just get involved, y'all. We going to solve y'all. Everybody get involved, y'all. We solve y'all. Sublime says, do blacks play good? I don't know. Do whites pay good? What is a black? What is a black, sir? Or ma'am? I'll just call you ma'am. I don't know, ma'am. I don't know, sis. Hey, listen, lady. I don't know if blacks play good. I mean, what can I say, dear? I don't. Hey, come on, sweetie. I don't know. I don't know if blacks play good. I don't know. I don't know. Let me see. Historical fan said, what's your favorite decade fashion-wise? Wow, what a fucking question. Okay, JJ says, as my parents aged, I grew more cognizant about going in sick, particularly as a restaurant operator. Will not allow sick employees to work. These viruses spread so quickly in the workplace and community, and that's true. And that's something, safety and security is something that you really need to keep in mind when you talk about being in business, and ensuring the safety of your employees and your customers should always be A1, paramount, and first. So that's good. That's good. Mariah, what's going on? My good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? Good to see you. And Rogue says hello. Hey, Sinbad. I swear, boy. Yeah, I mean, they see a black person, they just match you up with any black person. Like, oh yeah, Sinbad. Okay, cool. All right, fuck it. JJ says, after entering the PT field, that's physical therapy field, I specialized in neurological cases. I tried to avoid them if I was sick. Word. And Charles Hale? Bro, they don't give a fuck. If you come to work sick, they don't give a fuck. Actually, some jobs do care if you come in sick. Like if you work in the health industry, like if you work in a hospital and stuff like that. Now, you wouldn't have known that like around COVID because they didn't really have a choice. They had to let some people come in if they didn't test positive for COVID. But, it was such a messy time around then. All kinds of rules were being broken. All kinds of, it wasn't a good time, and I definitely don't miss it. But I feel you on that. For the most part, I think what you're trying to say is most of these jobs don't really give a shit about you. And I'm not here to dispute that. Not at all. But we're talking about whether you call out or not, because jobs do care whether you call out or not. From the average employees, especially from the average employee, especially the uninformed employee, they figure, well, I mean, if I call out, sometimes you don't have to pay me. So, is a win. Not really understanding what their contribution to the operation is. Like especially if you have days that you get paid for when you call out, and I'm not talking about your PTO or whatever, but there are some jobs that require you to cover whatever days that you take off. And if you don't have days to cover that, then, it can lead to a disciplinary action. So let's say like one job I worked and it was a union job. So if you called out from work, you had to use your either PTO time, sick time, or whatever. Now, if you exhausted all your time and you still called out, then you got a write-up. One write-up was no big deal. 2 write-ups, then you can get a 5-day suspension. 3rd write-up is a 10-day suspension. And the 4th write-up puts you on your last leg. Final warning, and that could result in termination. So a lot of people think that you can just, call out as many times as you need to, as long as you have an excuse like you're sick or you got hurt or were in an accident or whatever. but there are people who get paid to clock your patterns. And when you don't show up for work, somebody else has to do your job, and that person has to get paid in your place. So while you're covering your days, they have to pay somebody else to do the work that you're supposed to do, and that can cause an imbalance, and it can cause, employees to be disgruntled and pissed off. Like, why should I come in here and bust my ass every day when such and such don't come to work, don't give a fuck, and nothing ever happens to them? You've heard these conversations. You may have been part of those conversations. You may have been the one calling out, or you may have been the one complaining about it. So that's what we're talking about. I said, that's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. Yo, that's what we're talking about. Brown eyes. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. Sarah, that's what we're talking about, y'all. That's what we're talking about. I had to take a little nap before I got started tonight. I had a rough day, y'all. Had to get it together. So are we ready? Are we good? Y'all understand what we're talking about tonight? I hope so. I hope so, because now I'm ready. Now I'm ready. What's that? Chair Aquatics? Chairs Aquatics? Do you support Trump? I support him getting a lethal injection in his veins. So, or firing squad, or something very violent, lengthy, and painful. That's what I support about our illustrious, esteemed President of the United States. Yeah, I support, normally, I don't like to see people suffer or be hurt or, but I would never take a job like being the executioner for the state for like a lethal injection or capital punishment. But for him, I would do it. I think that divinely I could put all of my reservations about human suffering aside. Like, I love human beings. I love animals. But I don't like that fucking human being, that goddamn animal. So I would be the one. I wouldn't even require to be masked up. I'd be like, yo, give me the needle. I'll do it. Since y'all say that the electric chair is so inhumane. But if y'all needed me to do that, I could muster it up. I could do it. Remember that old movie? And we found out that a lot of the scenes were fake faces of death. And they showed the execution in the electric chair. I don't know if that one, if that was one of the fake ones or whatever. But I do it. I've seen people die before. I've seen people murdered. I've seen people suffer. I've seen people take their last breaths. I've seen it on the streets. Unfortunately, at a young age. I saw it. I saw it again. I saw it again. I've seen people stabbed in the heart, shot in the head, died in the hospital. This time, for just this one person, I would get involved personally. Okay. I may have been showing a little bit too much enthusiasm for that. Think you could make it happen? Fuck Trump and fuck MAGA. All right. In short, fuck Trump and fuck MAGA. And I mean all of them. Every last motherfucking one of them. No exceptions. No fucking exceptions. Even if I like you, I don't give a fuck. Fuck you if you fuck with him. All right. So, Maria Ramirez, Señorita Ramirez, la Señorita Ramirez, la Señorita Ramirez. What's going on, man? How you feeling? Good to see you always, always, and all the time. Always and all the time. Regiments. So, what he ever do to you? What he ever do for you? Look, we're not going to be talking about this bastard all night. Maybe I should have just skipped over the question. But if you ask me what did he ever do to me? You tell me what did he ever do for you? Because whatever he did for you is what he's doing to me. All right? Gabish? We good with that? I don't give a fuck if we are or if we not. If you're a Trump supporter and you don't want to support my channel, I don't give a fuck. I made it this far without you, and I'll make it way, way farther without you. All right. Okay. I. Yeah, I always hope to make you smile, Señorita Ramirez. And Carla says, son, want to inject it. See, I wouldn't normally do that. I was hoping, I'm really hoping to make it from the cradle to the grave without putting anybody in the grave. I definitely want to put and have put those in the cradle, but I don't want to put anybody in the grave. But for him, woo-hoo-wee. Let's say, son, you're gonna burn burn for all eternity if you do that to Trump. I'd be like, I ain't gonna be the only one. It's gonna be a party. It's gonna be a party. We gonna have us a hell party, but I'ma get it done. Lethal injection administered by son. I said, yeah. All right, enough of that bullshit. Enough of that bullshit. What up, Wes? What's good? What's good, y'all? All right, man, let's get back to the topic at hand. You know what I'm saying? Are enough of y'all mad at me? Y'all mad at me? I don't give a fuck. You have stumbled on the one area where I don't give a fuck if you don't like me over that. At all. Yo, my man Brizzy. Bryce Money is in the house. What's going on, my dude? My dude. What's going on, son? How you feeling, my dog? Good to see you always and forever, my dude. Always. Second verse. What's that? Second verse music enters live stream at the best time. That's what I'm talking about, man. I feel you on that. So look, let's get to it. You know what? Let me put my drums away. Let me put my toys away. So we can have this conversation. We're talking about calling out from work. Who has not called out from work before? Everybody who is an adult has probably had a job at some point. Many of us work right now. I do this show when I get off work every night. That's why I do it 2:00 in the morning. I get off at 1:00 in the morning. I come home, do this shit, and then I lay down to get ready to start the process all over again. So I work. My mama worked. My daddy worked. But they were both disciplined. My dad ran his own business from like my whole life. He never worked for anybody. Well, he worked. There were a couple of times when he actually had a job, but for the most part, he was in business for himself. And he was the one who taught me to go to work every fucking day. Like, no, don't be no lazy ass man. And you know one thing he told me? He said, don't fuck with no woman that tells you to stay home and fuck her all day. He said, don't do that. He said, if she can't wait for you to go home and make the money and fuck her until you go back to work the next day, get rid of her. Because as soon as you start making it a habit of staying home and bullshitting and just wanting to lay up all day like you ain't gonna like you just started having sex, you just discovered this shit, then she gonna call you a bum ass nigga, a no good, lazy ass, don't want nothing out of life ass nigga. And that made sense to me. He told me that at a young age. He said, get your ass up, get yourself washed and get yourself together, go to school and go to work. Make your money, make enough money to whereas you don't have to work for the man no more. But when you work for yourself, if you expect anybody else to work for you in any type of discipline capacity, you have to be disciplined yourself. So if you don't like to go to work, then your employees ain't going to like to go to work for you. It's all a trickle down effect. I think he was right. Rest in peace, Dad. He gave me that. And I don't call out from work. Now, I should say I don't call out from work on a regular basis, but it's not because I care about the business doing so well. I do it for myself because I don't plan to work for the man for the rest of my life. I haven't worked for him all my life, and I don't plan to work for him for the rest of my life. But while I'm working for him, I'm putting my own plan in motion. So I always think like the person that's writing the checks, not like the one that's only trying to get a check. Because if you're the one writing the check, you can best believe you getting the check. Because where you writing them a check from? Is it blank? Is it blank? All right. So, yeah, we good, man. Man, Bryce says, son, how you been, my how you been, my dude? I've been tied up with training, man. I know how it be. It's rough out here, man. Listen, it's still the beginning of the year. We out here trying to get it. I'm all about self-improvement. You know what I'm saying? When you out of the way or you making a better way, shoot, I mean, who gonna be mad at you? Shoot, one thing about standing on corners or getting high all the time or even playing video games, them motherfuckers are... You ever been online and never seen nobody online? You know it's impossible, right? I don't care. You know, if any of y'all are on the PlayStation Network, y'all want to play me in Call of Duty or some shit like that, hit me up. My handle is the same as it is here, SUN752 on PlayStation Network. So I don't care how old the game is or how old the online play is. I have never logged into a game and couldn't find anybody to play. You know what that tells me? They'll always be there. When it comes to leisure, when it comes to pleasure, when it comes to just beating around the bush and wasting time or letting the time pass, they're always going to be there, be people there to do it. When it comes to partying and all that, there are always going to be people there to do it. You ain't got to rush to get to that. You ain't got to rush. When it comes to that online shit, people going to be there. They're going to be there. So, that's just the way I think about it. He said, damn these pastors that Drewski talk about. Who's Drewski? I don't know who Drewski is. Lou Pickney, what's good? How you feeling? Mr. Blue Gatorade said, can you say the Pledge of Allegiance? I can, but I will not. When I go to the Eagles game, I make sure... Yo, bullshit, y'all. When I go to the Eagles game, I purposely don't go to my seat until the national anthem is already over and sang, because I don't want to openly defy that shit. It's not that I'm not an American, because I'm as red-blooded as an American as anybody else. But I ain't the one for that. We used to have to do the Pledge of Allegiance in class, in school. I remember that shit. We had to do that shit every day. Was it every day? Or was it just when we had an assembly? I think it was when we had an assembly. I don't remember having to do it every day. But I know there was a time when that probably was the case. All right. JJ says, in food service, we wish those fools would call out. Half they asses just don't know, just don't show. I'm sure Troy can confirm this. The restaurant business is a tough business. That shit is not for the weak. That shit is not for the weak. Retail is hard, but the food business, dealing with the Department of Health and all that, and hospitality. So you got to be nice to motherfuckers that want to shit on you. It ain't as easy as it looks. Smiling at somebody that makes you want to knock their head off. Carla says, Dad taught you some real knowledge. Yeah, listen. And my dad had mad kids by mad baby moms. But he was like, yes. But I fucked them all on my free time, son. Not on the job. Well, I can't say not on the job because my job allowed me to get Yo, my pop. Listen, we were landlords, so we bought houses. So we didn't sell no houses. We bought houses, we managed properties, and so we were landlords. You know, houses, apartments, and rooms. My pop always said, yo, Omar, don't fuck none of these tenants, no matter how cute they are, no matter how good they look, because once you start fucking them, you're not getting the rent no more. Guess which one of us was breaking that rule? I'll give you a hint. It wasn't me at first. It was him. It was him. My pop was crazy. All of a sudden, like the rent ain't being paid at a certain place. My stepmom like, yo, such and such ain't paying. We supposed to get we got to get these eviction proceedings started. My pop was like, oh, I just got the rent from there. I'm like, like, yeah, you just got the rent. But she paid the rent all right. She definitely paid. Ain't no old head gonna be. Listen, yeah. Hey, what would he say? A man gonna be a man, oh. You know what I mean? All right. Shy Guy says, homeroom every day. It sounded like it was a ritual. Was it? Like, are you speaking from actual experience talking about the national, I mean, not the national anthem, but the Pledge of Allegiance? Was it? Because I remember it was kind of often because we all had it committed to memory. I'm just trying to remember if it was every day. I don't know. Redder Than You. What up, Redder Than You? He says, another one of these fake intelligence streamers. I mean, you can call me that if you want to, but I'm not here to tell you what you should do. As a matter of fact, I am here to tell you what you can do. You can eat a dick and die. Eat an AIDS dick and die. Oh, let me get my drum back out. Eat an AIDS dick and die. Eat an AIDS dick and die. Full blown. Eat an AIDS dick and die. Eat an AIDS dick and die. You ain't gotta listen to me, I won't lie, but you can eat an AIDS, full-blown AIDS dick and die, and I won't cry, won't shed a tear. I don't give a fuck about you this year, last year, and I ain't shedding a tear for none of y'all motherfuckers. Y'all come over here trying to treat me like I'm a sucker, like you ain't got nothing better to do with 3 a.m. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck your mom. Fuck your sisters and your babies. I'm on that time. So you can come through talking all that, but I clap back, motherfucker, and I don't care back. Fuck you. What? Wait, let me get back to, I said eat an AIDS dick and die. Eat an AIDS dick and die. Eat an AIDS dick and die. Don't ask me the question of why. Am I an intelligent streamer? I don't know about that. You ain't paying me. I'm not a dreamer. Speaking of the dreamers, rest in peace. And all of y'all motherfuckers that can't pay your lease. I get money, my dude. Not a whole hell of a lot. I ain't rich, but I ain't broke either. You come through my stream trying to discourage other motherfuckers that's here. By all means. You can eat an AIDS dick and die. You can eat an AIDS dick and die. You can eat an AIDS dick and die. Not my dick. I ain't put my dick in your mouth, you bitch ass nigga. Now one could say, wow, he gets triggered and he snaps fast. Fuck out of here with that bullshit. Fuck out of here with that bullshit. My brother Time is in the house. What's going on, my dude? What up? How you feeling? All right. Let me see. Okay. Kev Doherty, Bongo Man. Actually, that was a Kunga. But close enough. I'll take it. And what's that? Wait. Nam Bozeltron? R. Kelly set to be released on December 21st, 2045 at the age of 78. Well, see, 2045? That's not, it sounds really, really far away, but I just hope we're all here for that release date. I hope he's here too. Shout out to R. Kelly. He should be able to manage an appeal before then. God damn. He didn't kill nobody. Y'all had to salute the flag too, Carla? Was it every day? You said every day. Maybe it was every day. I got to figure out when did it stop? I know we didn't do that shit in high school. They push you around in elementary school and middle school. We definitely didn't do it in middle school. I know that for a fact. We may have done that. We may have done it in elementary school from maybe first grade to fourth grade. Maybe. But I went to public school. Then I went to not Catholic school, but I went to an Episcopal school. So it's still parochial. And I know we didn't. Third and fourth grade, I went to St. Barnabas, and I don't remember doing it there. But I think I remember in John B. Kelly in the public school, first and second grade, I think I remember doing it there. And definitely at the assemblies. Whenever we had an assembly, we definitely had to do the Pledge of Allegiance. I remember that. Shirley Cheryl, the world's most precious and greatest pearl in the world. Shirley Cheryl, the world's most precious and greatest pearl in the world. What's going on, my? Good to see me. Good to see me. Some you. Always. Ah, man. All right. Can't use the words with P in them. When you talk about R. Kelly, it's a condition of the release. Well, I'll have you know, JJ, that he actually beat that case. I think it might. He may have graduated to the letter B. B stands for no. Maybe K for kidnap. No. A for abduct. No. SA for sexual. What was his actual charges? Damn. What did he actually do? What did Mr. Kelly? What were R. Kelly's actual charges that put him in prison? What should I say?
R. Kelly was sentenced to 31 years in prison. His convictions stem from racketeering, violating the Mann Act, which involves sex trafficking, bribery, and coercion, and producing child pornography.
Child pornography. So maybe you was right about the P. No P. But the P is for pornography this time. Yes, yeah, sex trafficking. I'm telling you, boy, whether it's hard to beat a RICO. It's hard to, once they get you with the conspiracy, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. You're going to do sometime. Animal incest? Have you ever seen someone so old and Oh, you said I have never seen someone so old and unemployed. I don't know who you're looking at. I may be old to you. I'm certainly not unemployed. So I don't know. So maybe you should keep looking. I don't know. I mean, this is the internet. I'm sure you ever watch movies? I don't know. I know that was a whack. I mean, y'all trolls got to do better, man. Y'all got to do better. You know what I'm saying? I expect like at least redder than you. We came with some, you know what I'm saying? He came with the hate angle, like, you know what I'm saying? He made me break out in a song. You? Like, don't nobody want that bullshit. Even the people in chat, they like, boo, 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 boo. Boo! He sucks. Do me a favor, y'all. Please hit the like button. Hit the like button. Y'all can share the show if you want to. Subscribe to the channel if you want to. But please, just do me one little solid. I'm not here to grift off you. I'm not going to ask you for any money. I'm not selling you anything. Just please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. Is that is that my man, my brother, Jay Sloan, all up in the house? It almost feels like Jay ain't around here no more. I know why, but that's my brother right there. What's going on, my dude? How you feeling? How you feeling? You know what I'm saying? Good to see you, my dude. Good to see you. Always, always. Never a time when it's not good to see you. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead over here and get my seat. Go over there and just go over there and get my seat. Right, chum. Right, chum. And the black man planted himself into the chair. Planted himself into the chair. So, we're talking about calling out from work. How likely are you to call out from work? How likely are you? Like, I've always been in management. So I've always had to make adjustments on the fly when people didn't come in, no call, no shows, just calling out. Now, there's a difference between calling out and doing a no call, no show. And I've had employees ask, well, what's a no call, no show? I'm like, that's the shit that gets you like either fired for the first time you do it and definitely not more than the second time. So what do you mean? What's a no call, no show? Did you call to say that you weren't going to show? No, but that's because my phone died and then and like I had a flat tire and then my phone died and then it got late and I thought I called in. I thought I called out. Well, what made you think that you did if your phone was dead? Like, were you under so much duress? Were you stressed out? Were you so distraught and like what made you think or forget that you didn't call? Then you got people who like will call. Well, let me ask y'all this. What do y'all think about this situation? Let's say your phone actually did die. You were on your way to work or something, and you got into an accident or your car broke down or something, and you found out that your phone was dead. So you didn't call out until 3 hours later after you were supposed to be there. Is that a no call, no show? Or is that a late call out? Doom, 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 do 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 doom, 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 doom. All right. Da 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 da. Oh shit! I didn't pin the number. I knew it was too quiet in here. I knew it was too quiet. Hold on. Let me get it right. 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 All right, now it's pinned. I was like, I thought it was a little too quiet. I'm glad I didn't pin it at first. Yeah, that's good. I need to employ that strategy more often. You know what I'm saying? It was nice and quiet in here. Kind of cool. All right. JJ says we going to talk about this. Carrie says I don't usually call out, so I have tons of PTO that carries over. Okay. All right, Brown says it's a late call out. You are AWOL until you called out. It kind of depends on what the company policy is. If you're in the union, they will find a way to call that a late call out. In private business, in a non-union environment, you're going to eat that no call, no show. Unless you have a manager or a supervisor that will say, all right, you know what? I got you. I'll make it look like you called out. But there may be times when that wasn't an option. Like the boss, the real boss was like, yo, where the fuck is such and such? Or they did a head count. Or you got caught asking somebody to cover for somebody else. And the question was why? Oh, because such and such is not here yet. Did they call out? No. And they didn't show? No. Have they done this before? Nah. Well, you may have said no, knowing the answer is, I kind of covered for this motherfucker. One time when he or she claimed that they woke up late and they actually came in late. Sometimes you have to explain that. You know, if you're in a work environment where you really do need the people to come in. So somebody call, especially third shift, motherfuckers be oversleeping. They oversleep and miss their time to come in like 11 or 12 o'clock when they supposed to be at work. And then they come in and go to sleep at work. So sometimes you got to look the other way, like you sitting there watching this motherfucker sleep. He might be in a chair. He may have found himself a bench. Pulled his coat over him. Wake him up like, hey, oh shit. Oh shit, what time? I was on my break. Did I sleep over my break? At least he was strapped with the excuse. Like, how is it your break time? You 2 hours into the shift. You taking your 15? You've been asleep for 45. You gonna send him home? Or you gonna say, like, look, All right, you already burned out your 15 and your 30. I'm gonna be on your ass for the rest of for the rest of the night, but we gotta get this work done. It may be floor work. Look, we gotta get before everybody comes in at 7 o'clock. We gotta get these floors stripped and waxed. So get to stripping and get to waxing. Stripping and waxing, stripping and waxing. He might be one of the best, most skilled employees. He's just a shitty employee. But he didn't call out. He came in and slept. You gonna send him home? You might. You might. C Townsend. Say, you hiring? Man, I'm hiring. I'm firing. I'm sitting back and admiring. Oh, man. JJ says, sometimes things happen. I live near mountains. It's possible to break down with no signal, but not every Friday or Monday. Friday and Mondays, baby. Yo, people be calling out on Fridays and Mondays like you don't see that pattern. Quickest way to unemployment, baby. Quickest way to unemployment. JJ says, we don't talk about union in the South. LOL. Really though, some companies make you sign a waiver if you're caught discussing unions. It's immediate termination. But goddamn, y'all don't have unions in the South? That ain't what I heard. Y'all take this red state shit too far. I know Republicans don't like unions, but the fuck out of here. What? I wish my job would tell me what I can say. Especially when I'm not hurting their All right, let me see. Jason says, you are just reminding me why I don't like having subordinates whom I'm not allowed to physically strike. Ah, shit. Oh, man. Yo, my people, Ed Schultz is in the house. What's going on? My man. Oh, gosh. Ed said, you fall asleep at my job, you can get hurt and fired. I work hospital security. I'd rather not talk about this. And yes, I'm fully aware that I brought it up. I am acutely aware that I brought it up, but I'd rather not discuss it. Brown Eye says, Bryce, LOL, I was scared to even look at the time. At the time, I worked 6 to 2 and had to get up at 4:15 a.m. It was dark when I leave the house, so to see the sun shining and hear birds like, ain't no sun up at 4:15 in the morning, baby. Now 6 in the morning, yeah. In the spring and summer, yeah, daylight savings time. You know, the sun is up at 5 o'clock in the morning, at least by 5:30, but not 4. Not 4. Jay Richardson says no unions, waste of money. I mean, I understand saying that as a business owner. There's a reason why. There are many reasons why unions exist. I mean, if a lot of businesses weren't so fucking treacherous and practice such unfair business practices, there wouldn't be a need for unions. But if you look at the history of the way businesses used to be run, you're like, yo, it was sweatshops in America, or at least the equivalent. JJ says, "Oh hell no, that's why the automakers moved to Alabama and Tennessee. That's why, huh? So they wasn't making money in Detroit when they was there. They wasn't making money when they was in Ohio. They wasn't making money in Indiana. Because to my recollection, that's when they were established and making all the money. But it must have been the crack era that ruined everything. Okay, Richardson says, pay reps to retire and get paid to make decisions that don't affect them. Right says, I feel you, man. I would rather you fall asleep at home than behind the wheel. You the MVP, so the better. Oh, they better not say nothing. All right, I got you. All right. All right. Okay. All right. So, Evelyn, what's going on? Haven't seen you around here in a while. It's always good to see you. It's really, really good to see you. And it says there's good and bad luck with unions. I mean, there's good and bad with unions. And that's true. Because I've managed a few. And it's always the union against management. And a lot of people get really caught up in that and they almost don't see you as a person. And they expect for you not to look at them as people. Even though, listen, man, when it comes to the union, I've seen some real ratchet shit. But I've seen it on the management side too. So I get it. My biggest problem is I see things from a fair colored lenses, if there is a such thing. I see things through fair colored lenses. Because I know that sometimes one side is going to get theirs and other times the other side is going to get theirs. But everybody has to get some. And as long as everybody gets enough, then things run smoothly. All right. JJ says, I see the pluses of unions, but they nearly broke the Ford and Chevrolet. Originally, people lived 10 years after retirement. Now it's 30. Now it's 30, 40. I don't know, man. I don't know. What I don't like about unions is I don't like 248. All right, hold on, y'all. All right. Caller with the last number is 02997. Welcome to the Daily Go Getimism Show. What's on your mind tonight?
Hey, this is Ed from Detroit.
Oh, I got you, my dude. I got you. Hold on. Let me turn you up. I almost forgot you. I was like 248. Wait a minute. I know this. What's going on? Talk to me.
Hey, with the talk with the unions, the good and the bad. I retired from Detroit in September, and as I mentioned, I'm doing hospital security now, and I was in a public union that asked me. I think they're larger than UAW. I'm not for certain on that, but at any rate, the good with the union is one is some of the protections you get under the collective bargaining, like your sick time, your vacation time, and as far as like due process where you're not at will.
Right.
So if someone in management doesn't like you, let's say some new manager or supervisor comes in and wants you gone or wants to move you on a different shift, they just can't jerk you around like that. I mean, that's some of the upside of the unions, and with the public unions, about the only ones left protecting like pensions per se. So, I mean, that's some of the upside and the good that comes with the unions. And it also helps prevent the hypocrisy of like favoritism. A lot of times someone of an administration or management likes somebody, and then, they're going to just promote them unfairly, or, give them some type of benefit that isn't right. Then there can be a grievance filed. So those are some of the things that I've seen.
Yeah.
The bad thing with unions is, like, one of my biggest things is it's tough to reward merit, and they're really big on seniority, and you could really have some bad people that are, just been with the company or let's say, government organization and a union for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean they're good, they're bad. For a point in case, take the public school system. You get some of these teachers that have been there 15 years that are just awful, and someone's been there 5 or 6 years really good, but the union will help protect them, and keep somebody bad in there. And then with the unions, you get a lot of the corruption in there.
Mm-hmm.
That comes in with some of the membership money. Like, one thing I really got livid, I spoke out against, is with my prior job with Detroit, they had these special conferences. And in between the contract negotiations, which is like every 3 years, you'd ask about something. They're like, oh, we'll bring that up in the next contract negotiation. But then they'd have these special conferences with management and agree to shit without notifying membership. I'm not saying it's got to be a democracy and have a membership vote all the time, but you should notify membership, because it's membership money that funds the union.
Facts.
Without the membership dues, there is no union. So they need to at least be notified. And if somebody has a concern or problem, you can say, hey, you can still vote in favor or not in favor of something in a special conference, but memberships need to be notified first. And that's pretty much told, I'm just a nobody, to shut my mouth, and it doesn't work like that. And it's like, nope. So some of that goes on. But my biggest thing is it's tough to reward merit in the collective bargaining work environment. But like I say, there's always pros and cons to just about everything. And then, what was it with the automotive, especially in the 80s, was a lot of people had misconception, like take that Flint, Michigan, and Michael Moore did that movie Roger and Me about the downfall of Flint. At one time they had over 20 General Motor factories. I think there's only like one left now where they make the big Chevy and GMC trucks. Mm-hmm. But that was more in part is the idiots running GM as well as Chrysler and Ford were not keeping up with the Japanese.
They weren't. That was the real problem. I don't see how anybody can ignore that. They were making shitty cars. Do you remember that? Do you remember that aluminum engine that they made for the Cadillac?
Oh yeah.
This shit couldn't stand it.
3800?
Yeah. It was before the 3800. The 3800 was actually pretty good. There was this aluminum engine that they had put inside the it was either in the Sedan DeVille or somewhere around between 80 and like 80 and 83, around the time they came out with the Cimarron and all of that shit. It was a piece of shit. It couldn't stand up to heat. An aluminum engine. Like, what were you thinking? The fuck were you thinking? Aluminum can't stand up but to so much heat. So yeah, doing things like that. I don't know who thought that was innovation, but I'm sure that it was cost effective in some kind of way. But it led to like you were saying, the Japanese they had a better plan. Engines that don't Toyota is thriving today because the engines fucking get 300,000 and 400,000 miles on it.
Yeah,
and GM
with a lot of those Hondas. Those Hondas are well built.
Hondas. Most of the Japanese cars are they have engines that stand up, and they don't have a lot of transmission problems either. Now tell that to anybody who's ever owned a Ford Taurus wagon. Ask them about the transmission. All of them. Every last fucking make.
Well, and now I had it turned into kind of an argument. A friend of mine, he works for GM at this tech center in Warren, Michigan, near Detroit. Mm-hmm. And he put out this post like, buy foreign, are you out of a job yet? You know, and I commented on his post. I was like, actually, you're better off buying some foreign vehicles and supporting American labor, because a lot of the big three are made in Mexico, let alone most of the parts are all from China. For example, some of those Hondas are made in Ohio, there near Cleveland, I believe that plant is. And then you got Toyota making stuff down in Georgia, where you buy, let's say, a Ford or GM product that's made in Mexico. Who the hell's that benefit but the shareholders and the white collar people running the company? Where if I buy some Honda made in Ohio, I'm supporting, American labor, people that are actually working, blue collar people,
Yeah. And since we're talking about, now before I even get back to the whole calling out piece and how that can cripple a business, or it can really put them at a disadvantage. I've worked on the management side of the union, and yeah, I totally understand why people unionize, because I have seen the direct conspiracy to set up certain employees to get them out of there before they reach their entitlements. You know what I mean? To directly target them, to get them on their final warning just before they get to their retirement stage. Now, that's not to say that was a model employee that they were able to get out of there, but when it comes to revenue, after a while, it doesn't matter who you are. It matters. The bottom line is what matters. Business is business, and when business starts to cross over into to unethical lines, and I've seen it. I've even been instructed to do it. I didn't do it, but it let me know that I got to get out of here, because I'm not doing this shit. Playing around with people's lives like that. But they don't look at it that way. And it was presented to me like it's either them or you. Who you want to choose? I said, I'm going to definitely choose me, but not in the way that you're talking about. But I see it. So you talk about corruption. It's definitely there, but it's there on the side of management. It's there on the side of the union, and it's also there on the side of the employees. Everybody's looking to get more. But I totally agree with you with the whole. It's hard to award merit. It really is. I mean, I don't want to make the same as everybody else. I'm not interested in that. You know what I'm saying? So if you're interested in opportunities for advancement, then being in a union is not what you want, because the advancement that you're probably looking for is on the management side, and you can't be in a union and be in management at the same time unless you're corrupt. Which but you got to play a little bit. But yeah, so but when it comes to calling out of work and all of that, the union will definitely protect you. And I've seen them protect people, but I've also seen them throw some people away. You talk to the shop steward in some kind of way, or demand certain things from the shop steward or the union rep. Like, okay, well, I'm just going to let him know that I couldn't do it. I just couldn't get it done. Couldn't do it.
I'll give you an example here, and it's actually this is on YouTube. There's this guy, Rob Wolchek. He worked for Fox 2 Detroit. That's the local Fox channel in Detroit, Michigan. So he does these like undercover news stories about corruption and scams and stuff going on. Well, he got information that's called the Jefferson North plant, meaning it's off Jefferson and just outside downtown Detroit, where they make the Jeep Grand Cherokee and some other Jeep products there. But there's a bunch of these employees, and they would be going to the liquor store and get their 40 ounces and their liquor, and then go smoking pot at this park just down from the plant. and they'd run in the store, and then they all hop in their vehicles and go to the park and go smoke and drink, for an hour or sometimes 2 hours and go back to the plant clocked in. Well, he went undercover and he filmed them for like 5 days. These group of about like 20 different employees doing this. And then he confronted them and they all took off. Well, once that news story aired, is the high-ups at Chrysler, he went into them and they're like, no, this is not who we want representing our, Chrysler brand. And this is not the type of labor, what we got going on here. And then these people will be disciplined and the action will be taken. Well, they tried to fire just about all of them, but then the union stepped in and they just claimed, well, they have a disease and, they got to be offered NA and AA, stuff like that. You can't just turn around and terminate these people, then the others, then the other coin of the argument gets brought up. Well, there's a lot of people that love to come in there and make that kind of money doing that work in the factory. And these people are, here they are smoking and drinking and whatnot. But there was a lot of controversy with that, but that goes on with a lot of unions. It's kind of tough because I do see both sides where you can have someone who's been, with a company 12 years and let's say you went through a divorce and maybe, developed alcoholism and, but then you have other people that have just been in alcohol when they got in there and then finally, they got caught and it's like, I don't want this type of labor here. I don't want this type of employee here. It needs to be marched out the door. But then that's the whole thing. The union has a bad rap of protecting bad employees and keeping bad labor in there,
True.
It's
true. It's something you have to deal with. I mean, they're always going to be, two sides of a coin, and neither side is going to 100% be right all the time because we're talking about money. And whenever we're talking about money, the ethical boundaries are always going to get pushed to the limits, and they're going to get crossed. People are going to get disciplined. Some of them going to some of them are going to survive it, do better, and then fuck up again. It's like learning the game. You're gonna, and that's one of the other things that I do like about the union. The rules are clearly spelled out, kinda. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're supposed to go by whatever is in the book, but sometimes there's colorful language in there. You know what I'm saying? So I mean it sounds good, but when it all comes down to it, it's kind of like any other job where if you're well liked, you're going to get concessions. And if you're not well liked, you're going to get sacrificed somewhere along the way. But you do stand a good chance of making a decent wage in a union environment, and definitely getting your entitlement. So I see from the employee side, yeah, sure, great union. From the ownership or management side, I'm like, oh no, fuck the union. No good. So, but yeah. So let me ask you this, Ed.
Yeah.
Personally, in a year's time, what do you think is an acceptable amount of times to call out in a whole year, a calendar year, 52 weeks?
I would probably say 3 to 5 days, with very few exceptions. Somebody has an obvious injury, let's say, would be one example. Something like that where they got to be off for 3 weeks. They pulled their hamstring or something like that. But typically, just like sick days, 3 to 5.
And you would be like 100% correct. 3 to 5 call outs in a year that will keep you out of discipline's way. I know people who do 3 to 5 call outs in a month.
Wow. Well, yeah, I've seen some of that. Yeah.
And if you're able to fly under the radar, you know what I'm saying? Because after 3 days, if you call out 3 days in a row, you're supposed to have a doctor's note. They've relaxed that since COVID. They've relaxed it. Some jobs say no, you don't have to You can just come back to work after the third or fourth day. You don't need a note, because the labor situation, during COVID was such that, it just changed things. It made a lot of adjustments. So yeah, it's a strange one, and because after COVID, and I hate to judge everything after COVID, but things changed so drastically. As far as what businesses will put up with versus what they wouldn't put up with before. There's no way you could have 3 to 5 call outs in a month with most businesses and expect to not be disciplined or not, or still have a job, or do no call, more than one no call, no show. Shoot, most businesses that I grew up with, if you did one no call, no show meant that you didn't want no job. No call, no show, no job.
No.
Cut and dry. Now, I've seen people get away with 3.
Holy smokes.
3 no call, no shows. And I'm like, what in the entire fuck? But yeah, because it's like, we need people. And when businesses were saying that it's hard to get people to work now, after COVID, because they were getting that, they were making more money not working than when they were working. Now they used to having money without actually having to work, and now they don't want to go back to their meager salaries. That shit was real. People tried to, the media tried to play it down like, no, that's not the problem. Yes, the fuck it was. I heard him say it, and I definitely saw him perform it. Like, I'm doing all of this shit for this little bit of money. Like, motherfucker, I saw your resume. Wasn't very well put together, or there were actually spelling errors on this shit. So you weren't making this kind of money before, but now you're used to, you had 6 to I would say 6 months to a year or more of making way more money than you ever made before. Now you feel like you know your worth. And some people still have that kind of that spirit left over from COVID. It's crazy. But yeah, I've seen people survive 3 no call, no show. And they survived it through HR. They questioning us like, well, did you make sure that they were okay, that that they weren't harmed? I'm like, pardon me, bitches, you fucking crazy? Like, yeah. So it's on us. Like, we told them, don't call, don't show. Like, we trying to get some employees in here that will actually work. And they're like, well, we need to concentrate on employee retention. You think maybe maybe they called out or didn't show out? Maybe they didn't show up because you're not managing them. Like, maybe you're intimidated. Bitch, you don't get the fuck out of me with this bullshit.
Well, I'm under the belief that this, I would tell anybody in administration, if I'm working in supervision or management, all the time, every time, you're better off being short-staffed versus having bad staff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Period. End of story. Bad staff can bring down the employees that are really, giving their 100% and doing their job and care about what they do. It's just so many dimensions when you start getting bad. It's like putting bad apples in the bucket there. I'd rather have a bucket that's a little bit short. They're all good apples. Oh yeah. It's unions. This is another one to talk about real quick with unions, and I'll give you my opinion. And I'm curious to hear yours. Is with the whole controversy of the right to work. Michigan. It was funny with my state here in Michigan. We had a Republican governor a while back, and we became right to work. Then they took away right to work when it was a Democrat governor, but as our legislature became majority Democrat, so they got rid of right to work. And I'm in favor of it because how I look at it is that should be the individual's choice, and the individual, like me, for example, I work for the government agency, or I work for the corporation. I don't work for the union. Let the union sell themselves if they want 100% membership. But to force somebody to say, okay, you either got to pay union dues or you just don't fucking work here. It's too bad. Too bad, so sad. But someone who argues against right to work is, will, say, well, that's just the way to, to tear down and get rid of the unions. And, then that's why it should be, forced, the unions. And it's very hard to get rid of a union once, if it's a non-right to work state, to get rid of them. There is decertification election, but you need like over 50% to vote on it. Although if you're in the public job sector, meaning government, you can't be forced to join the unions via Supreme Court decision of Janus versus AFSCME. But private, like Ford Motor Company, you got no choice. If it's UAW, too bad, unless you're in the right to work state. But that's another hot button topic right there. But I kind of support right to work states. That's my reasoning.
Listen, I think that everybody should have a chance to earn a decent wage and to be able to take care of their family. You know what I mean? I mean, that's the American way. I don't have a problem with that. But I also think that, you should make you should fulfill the contribution that you signed up for when you got the job. You agreed to do it. You didn't agree to call out every other weekend when you go get drunk or high, and you know what I'm saying, or all that old foolishness or whatever. But I mean, and a lot of it speaks to maturity, but it is what it is. I understand it on the management side, the ownership side, and also from the viewpoint of the employee. But you have to get in where you fit in. At some point, you got to do what's necessary in order to get the spoils of your labor. I mean, you literally have people out here trying to get paid for nothing. Like there's just a surplus of money that's drawn from that pays everybody. Okay, all right, fine. You know what I mean? But you think that things work out a certain type of way until you find out the way that they really work. Yeah, that's all I can say about that. But yeah. As far as calling out is concerned, that speaks to your mentality. It's a personality trait. If your first inclination is to call out at the first sign of trouble, like you just sitting there waiting to call out. And we've probably all been around our friends who were supposed, let's say here it is. Let's say it's 6 o'clock in the afternoon. I mean, I'm sorry, 6 o'clock in the evening, right? You've already been to work. You done work, got off. Maybe y'all sitting around at a bar, maybe just around the way. Y'all pounding a few beers, smoking, whatever it is that you do. One of your friends has to work tonight. Now, they want to join in the fun of what you're doing. Some of them may already be doing it. They got to be to work at 11 or 12. They work in third shift. They're already practicing for that call out right now. Here it is at 6 o'clock in the evening. They probably should be taking a nap or something, getting ready, to get themselves in shape to work for tonight. But instead, they're already getting drunk. They're already getting high and all that kind of shit. And they're rationalizing like, all right, but it's only 6 o'clock. I don't have to be to work until 11. So I got 5 hours. So, I'll take a few more sips of the brew and then I'll lay down from, let's say 7:30 till 9:30. Then I'll get up and go to work. I'll be sober by then. I won't even have the liquor on my breath. What happens? Here it is, 9:30. They got an hour and a half to be to work. They're about to call out. You know what I'm saying? I seen it. I seen it in real time, especially when you're young like that. And you're rationalizing like, here I am working third shift, and all my friends they working first shift or second and whatever. I'm missing out on everything. But it speaks to your personality. People who, I mean, from my point of view and my experience, people who go to work, they take their ass to fucking work. Mm-hmm. And you got the people who take their job, or either the people who take their job so seriously, or the people whose job is their life. And those are the ones that tell on other people and ask about, well, how come such and such gets away with this and I don't get a chance? And people get mad at them all the time and all that kind of shit. But you got to understand, that's their life. You may have an active social life outside of this, and maybe they don't. So you're going to have to respect the fact that in here, around them, they're going to ask certain questions. They're not going to let you just get over all the time. They're not here for that. So you can call them company people and all that kind of shit. They don't give a fuck. They're going to get that check every other week or every week, however it is they get paid, and they're going to contest anybody that they think doesn't get that. And that's whether they get promoted or not. It is what it is. But those are the type of people that you don't have to worry about calling out all the time. They're pretty reliable. And most jobs want those kind of people around. Because they're somewhat rare. They can be a pain in the ass. Even to management, they can be a pain in the ass. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, they're going to be the type of employee that you keep around instead of the type that bails out a lot or calls out a lot. And covering for people calling out, it's a pain. It's a hazard of the business, and it's something that we have to deal with. But shit, I mean, if it could be different, we would definitely choose differently. Let's take a look at the poll. So far, we have 71 votes. What we got? The question is, which best describes you when it comes to calling out of work? All right, 55% said, I hardly ever or never call out. 55%. Interesting. Okay. And 25% says, if I'm sick, hurt, or if there's an emergency, I'll call out. Only 4% said, if I'm drunk, high, or I oversleep. And 15% said, anytime I don't feel like going, fuck them. Well, it says F them. Now, this is the internet, and I questioned some, these percentages. Yep. You know what I'm saying? I questioned them, but if these are honest answers. Oh, thanks to everybody who participated in the poll, and it's not over. You can still vote. I'll address it again before we end the show. But yeah, I expected a little bit more on the side of anytime I don't feel like it. I've heard more than enough people say this shit. You know what I'm saying? Even as a manager, I've heard them say it.
That comes across to me either somebody's in a job they just don't care, or you get the people that are kind of in the retirement side of things, just like, well, fuck it. They march me out the door. I say, okay, have a good day, Mm-hmm. I'm just I'm just a merit-based person. I'm not there to kiss ass. I'm not there to gossip with management, brown nose. But I also take my job serious. I'm not like, fuck it. If I come in a few minutes late, who gives a shit? Fuck, I take it serious as, I expect to get paid every other week, at midnight, that money to hit my bank account on time. So in return, I show up to work on time, and my focus is being good at my job, A lot of times supervision management, they're not dumb. You don't catch on, don't catch on the people that, okay, just head over here. He does his job, but he's also, he focuses on being good on his job. He does the right thing when no one's looking, stuff like that, that's merit-based, and then a lot of times people think they're scoring brownie points, but they're really not when they, the ones that gossip a lot, like, oh, Joe Blow's doing this or Joe Blow didn't do that, blah, blah, blah. A lot of times you'll end up getting looked down upon, but that's me. I'm just more of a merit-based person. I'm not, how should I say, I'm not anti-union, but I'm not one that's, pro-union. I just kind of see the good and bad with it. Not trying to play middle ground, but
Mm-hmm. There's some employees that I've seen where I know when they're going to call out. And the reason I know when they're going to call out is because they do all of their work that they wouldn't normally do. They're already setting up for the. I don't even know whether to look at it as being diabolical or look at it as being helpful. Like, okay, normally I would leave more work for tomorrow, but I'm going to get everything done on this day because I'm not going to be here tomorrow. Now, I'm not telling you the day before that I'm not going to be here tomorrow, but you won't have to worry about what I was going to do tomorrow because I took care of it today when I wouldn't normally do that. And like you start to pick up when you work with somebody every day. You're gonna clock certain patterns. You know how they do. It's part of them. The way you work and even the way that you don't work, it says a lot about you. But I can't even be mad at that. Like, okay, so at least they didn't leave everything for somebody to clean up after them, or to complete for them. All right. But I've even tested the HR waters. Like, you calling out tomorrow, ain't you? And I saw the eyes rise. Like, why you say that? I just got a funny feeling. All right, between me and you, I got something I gotta do tomorrow. So I'm just letting you know now, you know what I mean? I gotta call out tomorrow. Like, well, I already smelled the call out on you. Yeah, you ain't coming tomorrow. You ain't coming. Like I already smelled it on you. But I mean, look, man, having coworkers that you can work with is almost like having friends. You know what I'm saying? They don't always, your friends don't always do everything that you like for them to do. They don't always act the way that you like them to act, but they give you more of what you like than what you don't like, which makes them a friend. And I'll take that from coworkers all day. Because at the end of the day, I'm not cutting the checks for them. I have to make sure that one gets cut for me. Now, if you put me in a position where you're making me explain why I should get a check because of your misgivings, all right, now we got a problem, and we're going to handle that as such. It's crazy. Calling out, man. We probably all have a relative or somebody like that had to learn that they have to go to work. They may not have been all of that good at it in the beginning. I mean, they may have had entitlement issues, being a spoiled brat, things like that. And don't get me wrong, because not all spoiled brats fail to work hard or are undisciplined. Sure. You just have some spoiled brats that have the entitlement gene in them, and they just think that they're supposed to be given everything. But those are the type of people that hardly ever find a job or go to work anyway. For the ones who actually like to have their own money, they catch on to the rules. Now they may go through a stint where they got fired a lot, or allowed themselves to be put in a position to be terminated easier. But hey, you live and you learn. Once you take that once you're out of work for a long time and nobody's covering for you, and those meals get fewer and far between, and bills are piling up, and things start being taken away from you, you normally shift your behavior or change the way that you do things.
You know, it's funny you say that because, like, here's an analogy. Well, kind of how I look at this is the employer market and the an employee market. Meaning, like, here's an example where it's an employer market where we went through that, like, quote unquote mini recession as Bush left and Obama came in around like 2007 to about 2012 or 13. It was an employer market. I mean, when some job postings went up, there was way more people needing the jobs, than the employees were able to do. Where now it's an employee market, even where I work at the hospital, we're running really short staff trying to get decent help in there, let alone people that want to come in. In the 90s, in my younger years, like around 95, 96, I'd say, into the 2000s, it was an employee market. There was far more employers need jobs and, people were available, but, living through that, you too, you got a few years on me. I'm 51. I kind of understand that, but it did make me humble, where I can't say, oh, well, I was over here getting paid X amount of dollars and cents. And, I'm not entitled to squat. I could be out of work now. And I got myself almost a $4 raise by taking my retirement from the city of Detroit in September and my current job now. But, part of that's luck, too. It took me a lot of work. I mean, I got sick of doing cover letters and resumes and phone interviews and showing up to different interviews and, all that stuff. But it paid off. But that made me kind of humble going through that, seeing that I'm 51 now, where someone in their mid-20s might have been working 2 different jobs and be like, okay, well, I made this and now I'm making that. And they're in the midst of an employee market. We hit another mini recession 5 years from now or 4 years from now, then they'll get humbled. Comes with age too. And not always, but that's one thing.
Yeah. When you get used to your check looking a certain kind of way, it's hard to look at it being any different unless it's more. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, and I've never really understood how people can like miss an unpaid day of work and be okay with it. I'm like, ugh. Shoot, I've been working since I was 14 years old. And I remember when I was 17 years old, I had a guy working with me. He was a year younger than me. So I was a senior in high school and he was a junior in high school. And sometimes, he would miss work. And the job that we were working at was a pretty good job. We were working at a clothing store and it was the kind of clothes we would actually wear. You know what I'm saying? So it was a good look. And he wasn't getting paid as much as I was because I was actually in school and I was working full time. But the way he explained it to me, I was like, what? Why didn't you come to work yesterday? And he was like, well, I only get paid this much. So if I take a day off, I'm only losing this much. So let's say, this is 1988 we're talking about. So let's say so he couldn't have been making more than what minimum was at the time, but we got bonuses. So let's say minimum was let's say $350. I think it was actually less than that. But he was like, so if I miss a day of work, I'm working after school. So 4 hours after school, 4 or 5 hours after school, it was like, it's only about, $20. So I'm not losing a lot. And I'm thinking I don't have that much to lose. It was 2 totally different mentalities. I'm thinking that if I'm only making a little, then any more than that I lose is a lot, percentage wise. He was looking at it like my mama make up the difference. I said, okay. You know what I mean? The bottom line is he didn't come and he's going to do this again because of the way he thinks. Shout out to Luminaire Watches. Yo, man, thanks for the super chat. I appreciate you. And this is called colon ream. So it's a bunch of vegetables and herbs and stuff Let's see. I got collard greens in here. I got turnips in here. I have what do you call it? Radish in here, tomato, celery, cucumber. What else? Spinach. And I also have black seed in here, chlorella, turmeric, and echinacea. So this stuff will keep you in the bathroom, but you know it'll give you enough time to get there, and it'll keep you right. So it'll boost your immune system. Now this is just what I concocted. You can make it any kind of way that you want. But yeah, I drink one or two of these a day, and it keeps me out of the ER. However, I was in the ER last week because of my back. So evidently it doesn't fix back problems. But yeah, the fucking sciatica. I'll be goddamn it. But yo, I appreciate that super chat. I appreciate it. Mucho. Matter of fact. Thanks a million. All right. So yeah, man. Yeah, so like your call outs and your attendance says a lot about your work ethic, not just your work ethic. It says a lot about your personality, because you have to think about the mentality that goes into whether you choose to go to work on a regular basis or not. That's really who you are. Because if you think about it, if you will not discipline yourself for money, what will you discipline yourself for? I mean, this is literally your livelihood. I mean, you could say, well, I might discipline myself for love. Okay, I'd like to see it. Because you may do it temporarily, just like probably when you first got the job, you disciplined yourself temporarily, and then you got comfortable. You found out what you could get away with and what you probably would struggle with getting away with, and you made a decision, and now that's who you are. So if you make adjustments based on whether the boss is looking or not, man, that's the kind of person you are. You know, it's a different brand of sneakiness, but it turns out the same way, and it's going to visit you in other areas of your life. But hey, I can't tell you how to live your life. You know, I'm just a man with a microphone and a camera. And a phone. It's all good. Ed, I appreciate you calling in, my dude. I really do.
Hey, you too.
You know what I mean?
I'll be listening to the show. Thanks.
It's always a pleasure.
Yep. Same here.
All right. My man Ed from Detroit. From the D, holding it down all day, every day, always representing, always been down with the movement since he got here. Glad to see him around, always. Okay. Oh, Luminate says, gotta add the sea moss. Yo, I don't like sea moss. I don't like it. That shit's disgusting. And I'm not putting it in there. I'm not doing it. There has to be a better way. How about seaweed? Why is sea moss so good? I like seaweed. Seaweed is cool. Seaweed is good. Yummy. Seaweed. But sea moss, I'm like, this shit tastes like a jelly. It reminds me of like a jelly rice cake. Like, where's the taste? What do you mean this shit is good for you? It can't be. You know, shout out to sea moss. Shout out to all my sea moss eaters. Shit reminds me of bland. It's almost like clams on the half shell without the salt. Yeah, if you ever eat clams on the half shell, that's raw clams. You shouldn't eat that shit. You really shouldn't, but people do it. People do it. They say it's an aphrodisiac. Do I really believe it? I don't know. All right. So in advance, I want to thank everybody for coming through. I appreciate y'all for participating. And we're still talking about calling off from work. Let me ask y'all this. Everybody that's in the chat, if you would be so kind, can you put in the chat how many times you have called out from work? Not vacation time, not scheduled days off, not holidays. I'm talking about the times when you were supposed to be to work today and you called out to tell them that you were not going to be able to make it today. How many times in the past year have you called out from work? If you would be so kind, please put that in the chat. Let's talk about that. Not this year, Carrie. No, this is a little too early. But let's say from last January of 2025 to now, January 29th, 2026. And if you called out today, yeah, let us know. You know, because some people might have called out today. Like JJ says 0. Wow, okay. All right. I've actually called out more times in the past year than I have ever. I think I have 3 call outs. And they were last week. My back was burning, son. It was burning. I couldn't do it. Damn. Carrie said 15. Damn. Evelyn said none. But Evelyn, wait a minute. You said that you haven't worked for anybody. So yeah, I bet it is none. All right. Jason said in the past year, I don't think I called out even once. And truthfully, calling out is almost impossible in my work. I understand. JJ says, I'm retired though. Okay. Carrie says, I used a bunch of days because of the use it or lose it. I ain't mad at that. Yo, as a matter of fact, I'm inspired. I wish I had a job where they told me I had to use it or lose it. They actually do that with my PTO. I wish I had a job where I could cash in my sick days. I fantasize about one day being able to cash in my sick days. All right. Evelyn says, well, it don't mean me because I retired a long time ago in my younger years. I saw what you wrote. JJ says, if you need a note from your therapist, let me know from well, I guess I don't now, but it'd be nice to have a few in a tuck. Can you write prescriptions? Let me know. Carrie says, now they letting us carry days over. All right. Evelyn says, right, there's some jobs required for you to use it or lose it. Shell Love NYC says, son, I'm a super, so I never call out. And I get 2 vacations, 3 weeks in August, 2 weeks in February. That's dope. You a superintendent. You work in the projects? Which ones? Fort Greene? Red Hook? Marcy? Astoria? Co-op City? Castle Hill? Forest? Edenwald? Super for a private. Oh, private. Damn. Rats. Next time I came to NY, I was going to go check you out. I've never been in the projects in New York. It's always been a dream of mine. Can you quit and go work in Queensbridge? The 41st side. I'm like, I'm going to finally make it into the projects at NYC and see, is it really like they say? I've been in plenty of projects in Philly, but it's different. They're not as tall. All right. Jesus said, Forest is wild. That's where my cousins and them lived back in the day. Fat Joe and them. You know, big pun. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Remy Ma, she from Castle Hill. So, I mean, if it wasn't for hip hop, how would I know about these projects? How? All right. They've renovated the PJs. They look like condos now, and they're gentrified. Yeah, they still got the same. They still got them same windows. You always know the projects by them windows, them brown windows. Just look. Well, Nas had a song. Looking out of my project windows. Yeah. JJ said, damn, I've been in the projects in Miami. That shit is crazy for a white boy. Listen, man. Wait, what are you in Liberty City? Liberty City? Liberty City projects? My man Luther Campbell? Okay, all right. So all right. So for the most part, my peoples go to work. That makes sense to me. Y'all seem like the kind of demographic that take your ass to work. Gary says, shit, Project Heat on blast right now. Them thick windows got everybody in bikinis. I got this strange line on my device, and it makes it hard for me to read certain words. It's like it's cut off. JJ says, down here they're tearing down all the projects. They are building duplexes and single family homes. Yeah, they're doing that everywhere. They did it here, but you can still tell which ones are public housing versus which ones have a mortgage. You know how you can tell? Because the ones with the mortgage are complaining about the motherfucking public housing ones. Like, yo, they paying $135 a month, and I'm paying $1,500, $1,800 a month. Can y'all at least limit the rats and the roaches and them badass kids? Who's using a clothesline in 2026? What in the hell? Looking out of my project windows. All right. Evelyn says, I've only seen the project in the valley in south of Texas. In the south of Texas. Brick houses with brown windows. Wow. Evelyn says, but why don't those people keep where they live clean? Because they're poor. And a lot of times when you grow up poor and uneducated, which go together, you don't often concentrate on that's the way it gotta be. That's the way it gotta be. Mm-hmm. Now, not everybody in the projects lives dirty. That's a fact. That's a fact. All right, Shellas. Son, there's no shootouts in the winter quiet as a church mouse in the summer of Vietnam. Oh man. Evelyn says, "Oh yes, I seen clothes hanging on the line." Look, I know what I know. Marvina says, "Oh, I love a clothesline for blankets and such in the spring." Listen, cool. I don't know. You know, like that clothesline shit. I don't know. Yeah, you got to have a certain kind of air for clotheslines. I'll leave it at that. JJ said the craziest projects I've seen are on Indian reservations. My people got robbed. Lordy, Emily says no, but if they join together, they and make rules to keep it clean. And that was in Pittsburgh, on the hill in Pittsburgh. Redder than you. Oh damn, Redder than you came back, and now he's gone. He's gone. It's out of sight. It's out of sight. He's out of sight. It's out of sight. He's gone. He's gone. Oh man. JJ says my clothes are always stiff as boards when they come off the line. Yeah, that's what I don't like. Shell says, son, I pray for the homeless in Kensington. Wow, man, I ride through Kensington every night, man. I rode through there tonight, and I'd be like, yo, they over there cold and freezing. They had on Monday night, they had like a shuttle bus for them. I don't know if they were just letting them warm up on the bus or if they was taking them to a facility where they could survive for the night. But they out there right now, man, laying in that snow. I'm like, it ain't a blanket, coat, layer that can protect you in this freeze right now. Let me see what the temperature is. It's 12 degrees out there right now. And when they wake up in the morning, it's going to be 8 degrees. 8 motherfucking degrees. Looking out of my project. Shit. I'd rather live in the projects than live on the street any day. I know I could find me a friend and a shorty in the projects. One thing that'll never happen in the projects is you won't freeze. Say what you want, but you won't freeze. 10 degrees in New York. I hate the winter. You know, New York is always a couple of degrees colder than Philly. Y'all literally up north. JJ says, you know, half of them over there still think it's spring 70s shit. The motherfuckers out there, they leaning and you could tell they leaning and they freezing. Leaning and freezing. They about to look like ice sculptures out there. Just dirty. Pray for them. Evelyn says, God help them. Who is the mayor? Her name is Sherelle Parker. But that shit been going on way before her, and it'll be going on way after her. This country don't give a fuck about no drug addicts, but they do give a fuck about the pharmaceutical industry. There will always be drugs in America. Ain't nothing you can do to help that, Evelyn. You know what I mean? People, listen. You know. These are adults who made the decision to start getting high. I mean, there's only so much you can do about that. Shell said, why don't they sleep on the train? Because it costs money to get on the train. And because many of them have mental problems, which came from the Reagan era. I'm not saying that the mental problems came from the Reagan era, but if any of you, or all of you remember, are old enough to remember that Reagan was the one that defunded the mental institutions, which put all of the people with mental problems out on the streets. Remember, there used to be a such thing as mental institutions. You remember, I remember. We're old enough to remember that. Reagan is the one that got rid of that. And that's when the homeless population just skyrocketed. And that's also the reason why it's going to continue to rise. Because they're not going to bring the mental institutions back. That's a wrap. They said, oh, well, they weren't good anyway because there was so much abuse. Yeah, but there wasn't as much homeless. And you could monitor the abuse if you wanted to. You could stop the abuse if you gave a fuck. I don't want to get political, but when when your humane side kicks in and you wonder what happened or what you can do to help, and then you find out that you're powerless in this situation. You can go out there and give out blankets and warm hot chocolate or cocoa or something like that. That shit ain't gonna stop shit. They're on drugs. So they're gonna die. And they're gonna die high. Frozen to death, cause of death. Could be hypothermia. And it could just, well, if they OD, then, there are plenty of cops out there. The police presence is high out there. But I guess they just out there to administer the Narcan. The Narcan is for when you OD and it starts your heart again. Shit is wild, son. It's wild. Evelyn says in H-Town, they pick up most of the homeless people and put them in warm buildings with security and workers who volunteer. That's cool. Marvina says, I was offered drugs. My first day working at a factory scared me. I was not ready for that. Evelyn says, my daughter and I go feed them and find a place to get them help with their drug problems. Do they want help with their drug problems? All the drug addicts that I know, especially the ones here, yeah, they just want help getting the drugs. They like, can you help? All right, y'all. We about to do these birthday shout outs. Let's go over the poll one more time, though, because we are up to how many votes? We are up to 84 votes. Which best describes you when it comes to calling out of work? 49% says, I hardly ever call out. 49%. All right, cool. 27% said, if I'm sick, hurt, or in an emergency, I'll call out. 5% said, if I'm drunk, high, or if I oversleep, I'll call out. And 19% said, anytime I don't feel like going, I call out. F them. F that job. All right. I want to thank everybody for participating in the poll. I appreciate you. Mucho, mucho, mucho. We have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious January 28th, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special, because they are special, because they are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They get number one out the box, Dr. Sarah Renee Langley. And also my girl, our long-time family friend going all the way back to the 1981, Louise Breland, and also Kanisha McIntyre. No relation, but what up, cuz? What's good? And also Duchess Arita Robinson, and she's raising money for the Coalition for African Americans in Performing Arts. Also my man Cecil Calloway, and my girl Crystal Collins. And G That Deal Dylan, Sharice Jones, Laddie Adon, Victoria Bracy Magnum, David Nell, Ansa Cliff, and last but not least, my girl all the way across the pond over there in London, my girl Uzma Shakil, affectionately known as Uzi Ooze. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all. And I hope that today finds you all in good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And that goes out to each and every person out there born on this glorious January 28th, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out, rock on and do the damn, to rock out. Rock on and do the damn, rock out. Rock on and do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember, sometimes you go to work, sometimes you call out because you feel like your feet hurt. Maybe you did too much work the day before. You feel like you got to even up the score. But the more that you call on out, you might find yourself on an unemployment route. Yo, shout out to everybody who comes and, do they work and don't never make none of them problems really grow beyond their size. And I'm going to say this, your eyes will be real big when they come through with the pink slip and tell you about to this, bitch. I know that you got to do what you got to do. So you be like, the job screwed you. But sometimes you're telling the truth. Sometimes you're lying. Sometimes them excuses ain't nobody buying. You be calling out on a Friday, turn around and you call out on Monday. And you think that Saturday or Sunday exonerates you? Please, come on, boo. You got to do a little better than that. You got to find a way for the dog to chase the cat. You got to find a way, to get to that bag. You got to stop acting like you a little fucking... On a serious note, listen to the rhymes I said, not the ones I wrote. It's coming straight off the head. And the words that I said and make you feel like, that's... I fled the country for a couple of days. I smoked a little bit of Purple Haze. I hung out with a couple of musicians called out of work, and I had to make another decision. Am I going to live my life like a free bird? Am I going to be out here like a real nerd? Am I going to be like somebody who's responsible? That's the way I was raised, so the high I praise. And my dad said, take your ass to work, son, and give him 8 hours, and make sure you got power and raise your level. It's not the devil that's keeping you back. It's your own mentality. Your salary will be increased by the way that you conduct yourself. And that's even if you have to pay yourself, because your health is wealth. So make sure you keep that, and you can make all the money, all back. The back pay that they owed. It's like money. And the ocean flowed. Everything will be all good. So we gonna do this shit. Yo. He said this dude like he can't go near playgrounds. What the fuck are you talking about? Oh, God. Why? Why do we have to have these dickhead motherfuckers come in here talking all this bullshit? But it don't matter. You came up on the tail end. So fuck you and your mom. Fuck you, your mom, your girl, your wife. No, you ain't got no girl. You probably eat dick. Yeah. You a sausage king. You go to sausage parties, but it's all good. Yo, peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death, resuscitate y'all, love y'all right back to life. We will be back tomorrow night, 2 a.m. in the morning. Y'all know how we do? Y'all know how we do. I hope y'all enjoy listening to the show as much as I enjoy broadcasting it. So that's going do it. So make sure y'all hit the like button, share the show, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. And I'll see y'all on the other side. Y'all be safe. Because at this time of morning, it's either time to go to work or it's time to go to bed.